Howdy folks, hope you're all having a good one, and welcome back to Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, where we're not having the greatest of days. All of our friends have been murdered, we've lost our diplomatic letter and all of our stuff, and now we're being hunted in the woods. Oh yeah, and I've been shot, so, you know, there's that.
We'll get out of the woods and find someone. Then we'll get that shoulder of yours fixed up. So, how far is it to Trotsky?
How am I supposed to know, Hans? I've just got here the same as you. If you look at the bottom of the screen, you'll see a bar that's mostly white and is just a little bit red. The red bit is my health.
There's someone in front of us. Down.
The white bit is where the rest of my health should be. Really can't afford to go getting into any fights, especially since I'm completely unarmed and almost completely unarmoured, except for my pants.
Watch the middle of the gorge.
So those bandits, presumably these are the same bandits that Sir Thomas from Trotsky and his patrol were trying to hunt down.
Stick behind me.
They're the ones that attacked our camp, killed all of our friends and took all of our stuff. They're also the ones responsible for the arrow in my shoulder. And they seem very determined to finish the job.
He'll see us. We'll have to wait.
Shut up.
Now, at the top of the screen, under the compass bar, every now and then you'll see a sort of, well, it's a rabbit. There we go. It just popped up. The yellow rabbit means somebody is not only searching for us, but also has a vague idea of where to look. The white rabbit indicates that somebody's searching for us, but they have no idea where we are.
We've got to get to that tree trunk up ahead, quietly.
If it ever turns into a red rabbit, you're in the shit.
Fuck.
This is all still essentially part of the game's prologue. I mean, in the first video, we were shown the basics of how to fight and how to play dice. Now we're being introduced to the basics of stealth.
You watch instead. You reckon we'll find them, do you? If they tried to swim across the pond,
Run, quick.
Right, let's go. You know, I have to say, I am very, very impressed with the stealth systems in this game. Because it might not be apparent just from looking at us running around in the woods.
No, fuck. They're in front of us. Quick.
But for a game that isn't actually a stealth game, like Splinter Cell or Assassin's Creed, the stealth mechanics in this game are very, very good. More so than you probably realise at first. It's a lot more complicated than just crouch and walk slowly and you're less harder to detect.
Hey? Hans.
Oh shit. You notice the red arrow at the top of the screen. Two red arrows fighting each other. Yep, we're in combat. Bloody hell, Hans, wait for me. So at the moment I'm not being particularly stealthy at all because I'm running. So far, so like every other game that actually has stealth mechanics.
Get over here. Damn it, they're everywhere.
What are we gonna do?
How should I know? We can't go climbing into the rocks at night when we can't see shit.
But they'll catch us.
Oh, you don't say, genius.
Calm down, for fuck's sake.
Stop it. This isn't going to help us. You know what? Go and look into that gorge behind me and see if there's a way forward. Then come back to me. At least we'll know if it makes sense to go that way. If we can get out of the rocks. I'll stay here meanwhile and watch out for them.
So, well, like basically every other game that features stealth mechanics, there's the obvious things. When you're crouching and moving slowly, you're making less noise, you're less visible, and therefore you're more stealthy. And a lot of games, even games that tout themselves as stealth games, tend to leave it at that.
There's no other way to go anyway. Hans won't be too happy when I turn him.
But Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 goes into a lot more detail than that. I mean, aside from the obvious also, try to break line of sight between yourself and whoever's looking for you, but there's a lot more that you can do to... Hang on, where did Hans go? That's not Hans. Hans didn't have... Oh, crap. No going back that way. That's where Hans was waiting for me. But yes, there's a lot more that you can do to both negatively and positively impact your chances of getting away undetected. For a start, the clothing that you wear actually has a conspicuousness rating, or how much you stand out from the crowd by wearing whatever it is that you're wearing. Generally darker, more plain clothes lower your conspicuousness and make it easier to be sneaky. Bright, flashy, expensive looking clothes also tend to make you stick out from the crowd a bit and make it more difficult for you to hide in shadows because of the bright colours. And then of course if you're wearing armour, especially any kind of metal armour, you're going to make a lot of noise, clanking and creaking as you wander around. And then of course there's also environmental factors. And I don't just mean get a big rock or a big tree in between you and whoever's looking for you, although that is also obviously a thing. I mean things like, well, for example, get yourself into the concealment of some bushes or some long grass, which is, I mean, long grass in particular is a staple of stealth games, isn't it? And it will make you more difficult to see, but it doesn't make you silent. It actually makes you more easy to hear as you're moving through the bushes and the long grass. But then there's the one thing that Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 does that I haven't seen any other so-called stealth games do, and that's to do with body odour. Because even if you are wearing the darkest of dark clothing in the middle of the night, stationary and silent in the longest of long grass, if you haven't had a wash in a few days, anyone close enough might smell your stinky ass.
So I set off after you. Corva. That was a hellish maze. Let's go then.
So even though this isn't a stealth game, it's no Splinter Cell, it's no Assassin's Creed, but it goes into a lot more detail as far as the stealth mechanics are concerned than most other actual stealth games. Oh shit, where did he come from? Ah, but now I have a sword. Although he does have a mace.
Now you're gonna get it!
So, trying to remember how to fight.
Curva!
Oh, block that. I cannot afford to take a hit here. I have basically no health. I also have very little stamina. So there's a limit to how much I can block. Come on. Yes, I think. Maybe. Possibly. Possibly not. Good boy, Muttley. Oi, not the dog. Oh shit. That's a yeah. Oh well.
You know the trouble with an adventurous life, son? It can end before it gets started. I might teach you how to handle a sword, and then someone will shoot you with a crossbow as soon as you set foot outside the house. If you want to convince someone that they're wrong, try using your mouth and not your fists. We did a fine job.
There are a lot of these flashbacks to the first game. I mean, it helps if you've played the first game, but it's not 100% necessary, because the game does, usually through the use of these flashbacks, fill you in on some of the details that you might need to know in order to be able to understand this game. Although I'd still recommend playing the first one anyway.
Being a blacksmith might bring no glory, but it has its benefits. Like keeping your head on your shoulders. Ah, come now. I was the one who raised you, but you know how things really are. Am I dead? Not yet. I'm dead, though.
If I'm not, then how come...
You chose a different path than I wanted for you. And maybe that's how it was meant to be. But once you've chosen the path of adventure, you have to fight. You have to fight till the bitter end, with all the strength you can muster. You still have a long way to go till your work is done, Henry. So pull yourself together and wake up. It's not over yet.
For the love of God, wake up. Pull yourself together, Henry. Oh, thank Christ. Oh, I thought you were done for.
Hang on, where did you get all the clothes from all of a sudden?
Where am I? Well, you dropped out of the sky like a shot-down hawk. And that fella landed with you. You broke your fall nicely, otherwise you'd have ended up the same as him.
What are you wearing?
Well, you won't be needing it. We can't be running naked through the woods. And if you're capable of running at all...
Now, where's Mutt?
I've no idea. Just don't worry about your dog. He can look after himself. Right, we've got to disappear. Right, come on, I'll help you up.
Wait, so I fight him, I nearly die killing him, and you loot and take all of his stuff? You can tell which of the two of us is the member of the nobility, can't you?
How are you holding up?
Not good. I feel like it's all up for me.
Just hang in there, damn it. Just talk. I know you're hanging in there. Henry, what are you staring at?
They're here. Sigismund's army.
The only army here is the one-man army of Sir Hans. Jesus, don't do this to me. Pull yourself together and let's go. We have to go.
But the gate is closed.
Don't worry, my name will open any gate.
Fuck.
So, obviously Henry's delirious here, and he's hallucinating all of this.
Scallis is in flames. We're gonna die here.
But these are all events from the first game.
Come on.
Which started with Sigismund's army torching his hometown of Skalitz. And amongst other things, killing his parents.
Father?
Listen to me, Al. Listen carefully. Take the sword, go into the house, and grab anything else
Run!
important from the trunk. Go to the castle. Hurry.
What about you?
Are you
Your
mad?
mother is in the village. I'll fetch her and we'll follow right behind.
I'll go with you.
No. You do what I say right now. Give the sword to Sir Roger.
Christ's sake.
If anything happens, he'll take
Come
care of you.
on.
Promise me.
Oh, you can hardly stand.
Even
damn
though
it.
his pa, the blacksmith,
But we'll make it together. You'll see.
isn't actually his father, but he is the man who raised him. Henry's actually the bastard son of one of the local nobles.
Henry, focus.
Which was a fairly common thing at the time.
Can't run away.
Henry, pull yourself
I'll
together.
kill them.
Please. There's nobody here. You're just imagining things.
Run. No.
Don't give in
No.
to it. Hang in there.
Mom.
Make it together. You'll see. You're a warrior. You can do this. It's all right, Henry. I've got you. Just a little further. Henry, wake up.
Like I said, you don't have to have played the first
Linden
game.
tree. Just like Father always wanted.
No, we can't stop.
And Pa,
Although it does help.
dead. They're all dead.
We aren't yet.
A light! Look! I see it. We've got to go.
But if you haven't played the first game, scenes like
See
this,
the light.
they help lay the groundwork to understand what's occurred before you get here.
Hold on, pal. Hold on. We...
Pavlena, is it you?
Greetings, good wife. Fear not. We mean you no harm. My friend needs help. Please.
Right. I'll see what I can do for him. Let's have a look at you. It's all right.
My parents. That was just a dream, Henry. We're in the woods. We were ambushed. But don't worry. We'll get you fixed up right as rain.
Now I've got you, whore sons.
Think against strong!
Hey, lad! Are you alive, lad?
Mother?
I ain't your ma, laddie. Oh, may all the saints be praised. I was afraid you'd never wake up again.
What? Where am I?
Where would you be? Here in my cabin, where you and that pal of yours burst in last night. Slowly, lad. Slowly.
So I'm assuming from the look of things, and also based on the fact that I'm still breathing, that Hans won the fight with the bandit who bust in last night, but it also doesn't look like he got away completely scot-free.
What happened? What about Hans?
He's taken care of for now, but he was on the edge there for a bit. And so were you, lad, so calm yourself. Last night you were 1 foot in the grave already. You were lucky you happened to turn up here.
Well, I have to talk to Hans.
You won't get much out of him now. He's lost a lot of blood and he has a fever.
What happened to him?
That cutthroat that followed you fellas cut him up bad. Hans was fighting him outside, then he came staggering in, said something about Fortuna and collapsed on the floor.
But you'll help him, won't you?
God willing. Well, I managed to pull you out of death's grip, so maybe I'll be blessed again. I'll go check on him as soon as I'm done with you. How are you feeling?
I've had worse. My shoulders stings a bit, but I'm all right otherwise.
You're brave. If you weren't, we wouldn't be speaking now. Ah, your shoulder is looking a lot better. I did my best, but I don't see good no more, especially at night. So I didn't do the best job. It just wouldn't stop bleeding. And now you've moved about, it started up again. Take this and bandage it up. Not much else we can do with it now.
Thanks. I reckon I can manage that. But I need to get a breath of fresh air to clear my head.
You slept through half of God's bright day, lad. So, if you feel up to it, go ahead. At least we'll see how steady you are on your feet. While you're at it, you can stop by the trough and wash all that nasty grime off of yourself. I found an old tunic. Put it on so you don't catch a chill. It gets cold here by the water. No doubt you'll be famished and need a bite to eat. There's some hot soup in the pot on the fire. If that ain't enough, I put some bread and cheese on the table outside for you. And you'll find some of our home-brewed liquor there, too, in case you need bucking up. Don't overdo it, though.
I won't. Thanks a lot. May God reward you 1,000-fold. What's your name, by the way?
Bushena's my name.
Well, I'm Henry.
I know. Hans told me. I'll go and check on him. When you're done with everything, come and see me and we'll figure out what to do next.
So, we're basically starting again from scratch. So, we haven't just lost all of our stuff, we've lost all of our levels. However, notice that we have recovered an awful lot of health. Now, healing in this game doesn't work the same way it does in most games. You don't just bandage yourself up and then miraculously recover all of your health. The only thing that bandaging does is stop the bleeding. It stops you from losing even more health. The only way to recover health is through nourishment and rest. And since we've just had a full night's sleep, we've gotten back up to about, well, in fact, exactly 74% of our maximum total health. So now we need to get something to eat. So we don't actually have anything in our inventory other than the tunic and the bandages that Bojena has given us, but there is a pot of food here that we are welcome to eat from, and this is going to nourish us. Be very careful, because you'll have negative effects by being too hungry, but you'll also have negative effects by overeating. So if your nourishment exceeds 100, you get bloated, and it will negatively affect your stamina and other statistics. Overeating in this game is almost as bad as undereating. Anyway, let's get ourselves cleaned up. Oh, there's the trough. Oh, but there's also some food over here that we can take with us rather than having to eat from a pot. There's also some saviour schnapps. So there are two ways of saving the game. Actually, there are three. From the main menu, you can quit and save. You can also save by sleeping in a bed that you own, or you can basically quick save by consuming some saviour schnapps. The only way to actually get any saviour schnapps is to... oh, there's the body of the... hang on a second. I've got a torch. So that's the guy that Hans was scuffling with last night. He's seen better days, but... well, he's got some clothes. And they're better on me than they are on him. The gambeson is actually armour. It's quilted cloth. Surprisingly effective. Well, it's effective against stabbing and slashing weapons, not so much against crushing or bludgeoning weapons. But still, it's better than nothing. So, let's get this stuff equipped. It is all horrible and nasty and covered in blood, of course, but we can fix that by washing off in the trough. There's a limit to how clean you can get by washing in the trough, but, well, at least we're not covered in blood anymore. Although sometimes being covered in blood can actually work in your favour. If you're trying to do an intimidation check, being covered in blood helps.
I did what you asked.
And you didn't faint while doing it. I'm pleased, Henry. I had to pour a whole Lethean potion into you last night. That's what I call medicine. It can either put a dead man back on his feet, or make sure he never gets up again. So consider yourself lucky.
I will. But what about Capon?
Well, he's less lucky. That brute really knocked him about before Hans beat the life out of him.
Is there any way I can help? I owe it to Capon, and I want to do whatever I can.
You owe him, all right. I've got a bit of that Lethean potion left. It ought to work wonders on him, same as on you. But I can't just give it to him now. First, we have to deal with that fever. The best and fastest remedy for that is chamomile decoction. Luckily, it ain't too hard to brew, but we'll need some fresh sage for it. And, of course, chamomile. You ought to be able to manage that. You've got young legs and eyes, and I reckon a bit of a stroll would do you good.
Easy as pie. I can do that. Ma used to put sage in sauces and served it with meat. I'll check the kitchen.
Christ wounds. Try thinking with your head and not your stomach. We need freshly picked sage, not some dried herb, so listen up. Sage has a purple blossom and chamomile has white petals with a yellow centre. At the back of the hut, there's a footpath leading up to the rocks. You go along there till you reach a sort of small meadow. You ought to find both of them there.
Great. I'll be back in a jiffy with a couple of handfuls.
All right. I'll be glad if you get back here soon. I don't feel right being here with that corpse in my yard. Seeing him lying there gives me chills. I can't think straight.
I understand. It makes me anxious too. Maybe I could manage to bury him somewhere. Or at least hide him somewhere further off in the woods.
The Lord be praised. I'd be truly glad of that. Do you feel up to it, laddie? You ain't in the best of shape, and digging a grave's a tough job, even for a healthy fella.
Not to worry. I'll see what I can manage. It's on account of us that he's here anyway. I wouldn't want you to have any more trouble. And a bit of effort, even if it's a dirty job, is the least I owe you.
Well, if you think you can manage it, good, but don't overstrain yourself. And thanks.
Where should I put him?
Grab the spade by the dung pile and bury him by the creek. The soil will be softer there, so it should be easier. When you head out the gate, follow your nose. Find a good spot somewhere in the reeds and nettles. And when you're done with that, better have a wash, so's you don't have the stench of death on you.
True. I'll bear that in mind.
I'll sort out the rest with Ignatius, the gravedigger, when he comes by again, so's I don't have that wretch lying here till Judgment Day.
All right. I'll get to it.
But that's the other thing about Kingdom Come Deliverance too. All of these things are situational. Like I said, being covered in blood might aid you in intimidation checks when you want somebody intimidated. But it's not going to help if you're trying to haggle for lower prices at a local merchant or try to ingratiate yourself with the rich and famous. There is no one-size-fits-all check when it comes to social interactions. Just having a high charisma isn't going to help you when you're talking with bandits in the same way that it might help when you're talking with merchants or members of the upper classes. There's a whole bunch of factors that you have to take into consideration when you're trying to negotiate with somebody, not just based on the various different skills that you have, like speech and your charisma score and things like that, but who it is that you're talking to, the circumstances in which you're having the conversation, and other things like your appearance, your reputation, and even what you smell like. It's surprisingly complicated. Although, let's not go into too much detail about that right now, since it's not immediately relevant, and we do have a job to do. Got to get rid of this body.
Ah, shit. My shoulder. This bastard's hard work. I'll put him down somewhere for a while so I can start digging.
Okay. Drop the body. We've got the spade. That's the stream. So I need to find somewhere to bury him. But Jenna did say to bury him down here by the stream. Oh, some mushrooms. I can probably eat those. But she did say to bury him down here by the stream because the ground would be softer and therefore easier to dig a shallow grave. And put the corpse in the grave. Okay. So that's job one done. Now, Hans is in bad shape, and we need to gather herbs to make a potion for him. Of course, since we've been handling a dead body that's been bludgeoned to death, I'm now covered in blood again. So, I mean, I don't have to, but it wouldn't hurt to wash up again. Once again, there's a limit to how clean you can actually get by washing at a trough of water. Oh, hello, there's an axe there. Might be a good idea to take that. If you want to get really clean, you need to go to a bathhouse. That will only get you clean though. It won't clean your clothes. If you look at the miner's hood there, for example, you can see the sort of dirt icon next to it. My clothes are kind of dirty and stinky too, but there's nothing I can do about that until I find a laundry or a washing spot, which right now, honestly, is the least of my problems. So Bajena said I could find the herbs I was looking for up the hill here.
It still hurts like hell. Maybe now it'll tell me when it's gonna rain.
Yeah, notice I'm still carrying an injury. If you look there at the bottom of the screen next to the health and stamina bars, you'll see that there's an icon indicating that my shoulder is bandaged up, but it's still injured. So I'm going to need more rest before I'm completely fit and healthy. There's some comfrey. I don't know if that's one of the herbs I was supposed to find. But picking herbs increases your survival skills. So why not? And anytime you advance a skill, or a specific skill, a portion of that experience also goes towards advancing your main level. Sage. Yeah, that's what I needed.
Purple flower. Sage. There we go.
And I think it was chamomile. I thought there might be something stashed in that tree trunk. Worth a look, you never know. What does chamomile look like? Was it white? Sage was purple. Yep, chamomile was white. I'll grab a bunch of this.
That's it. Chamomile. Right, I've got all the herbs I need. So back to Bajena on the double. The sooner Hans gets that remedy, the better.
I'll grab a bunch of this. The herbs that you pick aren't going to stay fresh forever. Alchemy and potion making is better with fresh herbs and ingredients. But if you have a bunch of herbs and no immediate way of turning them into useful potions, you can always dry them out, which will reduce their effectiveness but make them last much, much longer. Of course, in order to do that, you need to find a drying rack. Anyway, we've got the herbs that we need. And Bajena is a herbalist, so she's going to have the facilities to hopefully dry them out. And hang on, what's going on?
Making such a fuss about? Could something have happened at Bajena's?
I don't like the sound of this.
I should have some weapon at hand, in case there's any foul play.
Well, I did pick up the work axe, and it is equipped. Actually, no, it isn't equipped, so I should equip it. That would be a very good idea. Right, I now have a weapon equipped. Let's find out what the dog's making a fuss about.
What do you know about it? Hey, you! What do you want? Come. Lord von Bergov sent us to find the renegades who ambushed some knights' company down by the pond yesterday. A couple of them fled and are hiding out here in the rocks. So tell me who you are and what you know about it.
Lord von Bergov sent you, did he?
You're from Lord von Bergov? You don't look like it.
Kurva! Watch your tongue with me, boy. When I say we're from von Bergov, then we're from fucking von Bergov. Who else would we be from anyway? You can talk to me or talk to Cold Steel. Who the hell are you? And what are you doing here?
There's a number of different ways you can actually resolve this situation without having to resort to bloodshed, although my chances aren't great. I could try using my survival skill by lying and saying we sent them away. I could try to use my speechcraft, which isn't amazing, by lying and tell him he's looking in the wrong place, or I can just try to intimidate them and tell them to clear off. And while intimidation does technically offer my best chance of success, these don't look like the kind of people who are going to be intimidated easily.
Calm down. No need to draw weapons. I'll tell you everything. It's just like you said. Before dawn, there were some vagabonds round here. I had a bad feeling about them. They were looking for a hiding place.
What I want to know is where they are now, not where they were this morning.
We sent them to the rocks. It's a dangerous place. One false step, and it's a long way down.
I'll tell you what's dangerous. Pissing me off like you just did. Because it was in the rocks that we lost them yesterday. So it's kind of you to wait for us here.
Yeah, that didn't work. They didn't fall for that. So now it's violence. I do at least have the dog providing something of a distraction until they beat it up and make it run off. Yeah, this isn't good. It is possible to bluff your way out of this. I have managed to successfully do it by telling them, "Oh, you're Lord Bergov's men." Well, that's good, because we've sent a message to Lord Bergov notifying him that those men you were looking for were here last night, and he's sending more men over to help search for them. And as soon as they hear that Lord Bergov's men are on the way, since they're clearly not Lord Bergov's men, they decide to make themselves scarce, and got rid of them without having to fight them. Just not today. This is not looking good. One more hit, and I'm a dead man. I got one of them.
Show what you're made of.
But I didn't get the other one. Now, despite the fact that the game has no quick save option, other than consuming some saviour schnapps, it does have an intelligent autosave feature. So I haven't lost an hour of progress just because I wasn't able to kill those two.
I should have some weapon at hand, in case there's any foul play.
Oh yeah, I should probably equip that axe. I mean, I could take them on in unarmed combat, except I would be the only one who was unarmed, and let's not do that. And while it is possible to talk your way out of this, your chances aren't good, no matter which conversation option you choose, and, well, sometimes the best option is to just get the first couple of hits in. Oh great, now I'm bleeding. And also apparently I have a head injury. I'm going to need to be very careful. Of course, the longer I go without bandaging while I'm bleeding, the more health I'm going to lose. Right, that's one down. I'm not in that much of a better situation than I was the first time around. So I'm going to block, riposte. This guy's already taken a couple of licks. Yeah, we've got it. I've had better days though. Where are those bandages? There we go. Got to stop the bleeding. It's going to take 4 bandages to deal with that head wound. But at least I'm not bleeding anymore. That was close though. I mean, I am at death's door again, and you can tell not just by the fact that the screen's all red, which is the game's way of saying one more hit and you're dead, mate. But once I finish looting these guys, because they don't need their stuff anymore, if you have a look at the health bar at the bottom of the screen, with the red bit showing how much health I have and the white bit showing how much health I'm missing, you can see that there's a line drawn between the red and white sections of the bar that also extends down into the yellow bar. The yellow bar is my stamina bar, and I can never have more stamina than I have remaining health. So do try not to lose too much health. It's very bad for more than one reason.
God in heaven, you look a sight. It's a wonder you're standing on your feet. My word, they worked you over good.
I fought them off as best I could. I was lucky to survive at all.
2 of them, eh? No wonder then. Show me that. I'll try and get you into better shape. I didn't go to the trouble of healing you just so you'd up and die on me.
That would be very much appreciated, Bojena, thank you.
Well now, better?
Much better. Thanks a lot. And are you alright? They didn't harm you?
No. But I think they would have if you hadn't come along.
Who do you think they were?
I don't know how much you heard. They came here saying they was from Lord von Burgo, and they was looking for 2 bandits that ambushed some knight yesterday. But for sure they wasn't von Burgo's people. They didn't even have his Waffenrocks. But they sure sounded keen to find you fellas.
Maybe they were from that band that followed us yesterday.
Look here. I almost got slaughtered twice in one day on account of you 2. God be praised that my Pavlena wasn't here. Heaven knows what they'd have done to her. So, I'd like to know why all this is happening. Your friend was talking in a delirium in the night, saying you was knights. But if you 2 are knights, then I'm the Queen of Sheba.
She does deserve to know the truth.
Well, I must bow to your ladyship. Sir Hans is the young lord of Leiper and Perkstein. I'm Henry of Skalitz, son of Sir Radzig Kobyla, and I'm his bodyguard. We were heading to Trusky to deliver a message from Sir Hanish of Leiper and Margrave Jobst to Lord von Burgov. But we were ambushed by bandits yesterday down by the pond, and you already know the rest. And as God is my witness, We're no bandits. I swear to you. I'm thankful to you for saving us. And I'm sorry it caused you trouble.
Well, you sound sincere, so I'll take your word for it. I hope I won't live to regret it.
You won't. I promise you.
Promises are made to be broken, but thank you for dealing with them. Except I have 2 fresh corpses in my yard.
Don't worry. I reckon I've still got a bit of strength left. I ought to be able to manage it before evening.
I'd be eternally grateful to you. But be careful while you're at it. You don't want to open that wound or strain yourself.
What about Sir Hans? How's he doing?
He's holding up, I'd say. I treated his wounds and I'll change his bandages shortly. But what he needs most now is that remedy. Have you got everything for it?
Here. Chamomile and sage, like you said.
Excellent. Now to brew the potion from them. I gave you 2 the last of my supply during the night. But fresh is best anyways. It's a shame my daughter Pavlena ain't back yet. She'd get it done in a jiffy. But we'll just have to manage without her. But you can do it too. It ain't nothing hard. My eyes are so bad, it'd take me all day. But at least I can tell you how to go about it.
All right, I'll try. But I'm not sure how to do it.
I told you, I'll explain everything. I have a book here with the recipe, but it'll be better if I tell you. I know it by heart.
I can read as well as any man, if that's what you mean.
My word. Maybe you really are a noble son.
I'll take the book just in case, but if you give me some advice, I'd be grateful.
Of course. Everything we need is in the hut. Let's get to it.
So I've got 2 more graves to dig and 2 more bodies to dispose of, but I'm in no rush. It's not like they're going anywhere. But now for an introduction to brewing potions at Boženna's alchemy bench, using the sage and the chamomile that we've just collected for her. And we can also help ourselves to the stuff in her herb garden. She is fairly well stocked. Although right now we have a limited number of recipes available. So here's how it works. So first we go to the recipe book. We're making a chamomile decoction, which heals you faster while you sleep. We're going to need wine, 2 handfuls of chamomile, and a single handful of sage. So first prepare the ingredients. You always start by putting the liquid base into the cauldron. Every potion needs a liquid base, and for chamomile decoction, it's wine. So I'm going to take the wine, which is the correct base for chamomile decoction, pour it into the cauldron over the fire. Now it's not going to start boiling all the way up there.
Wine, of course. Like it says in the book.
So in order to start actually boiling the base and get it ready for brewing, we're going to have to lower the cauldron over the fire. That'll start boiling the contents. If we want to speed the process up, we can use the bellows to fan the fire. Although we want to be careful we don't overdo it, because making it too hot and boiling off most of the contents can be equally as bad as not boiling it enough. If it starts to look like we're overdoing it, we can always just move the cauldron back up and take it off the direct heat. So now that we've boiled the base, we need to prepare the herbs. You can always go back and check the recipe book if you're unsure of what you need, but I'm making a chamomile decoction, so I'm fairly sure I need chamomile, and sage was the other herb that Boženna sent me out to fetch. So we're going to put chamomile and sage in. So selecting the correct herbs then puts the pouches of herbs on the bench ready to be added to the concoction. But you need to add the correct amount. Now, because this is the alchemy tutorial, it's telling me exactly what to do. 2 handfuls of chamomile, but at any point you're unsure, you can always just look back at the recipe book just to remind yourself of exactly what proportion of ingredients you need to add. You also need to boil the ingredients for the correct length of time, and that's where the sand glass comes in handy. Of course, first I also need to lower the cauldron back over the fire and put it on the direct heat, because it's not going to boil up there, and then turn the sand glass over. So lower the cauldron to the fire,
And wait until it starts bubbling.
and let it boil for 1 turn of the sand glass.
As soon as the sand runs out, take the cork.
But only once it actually starts boiling. I'm a little bit slow turning the sand glass over here, but don't worry, Brzezina's got my back. She'll let me know when it's time to take the cauldron back off the boil. But this will only happen during this tutorial section. From here on in, it's on you. So now we need 1 handful of sage, but we're not adding it straight into the cauldron the way we did with the chamomile. First we have to grind the sage in the mortar and pestle. Again, if you're unsure of the steps, you can always at any point return to the recipe book and just refresh your knowledge of exactly what it is that you need to do.
Have you ground it?
So we've ground up the sage,
Now, drop
and now we just put this back into the cauldron.
it. You don't have to boil it anymore.
We don't have to boil it anymore, now we just have to decant it. Some potions have to be distilled, but decanting is simple. You just take a vial and pour the contents straight into it. And depending on how well you've done this, that will affect the quality of the potion that you've brewed. And it'll tell you immediately how good the potion is. And it's a regular chamomile brew. It's not strong, I didn't do it particularly well, but it's not weak either. I didn't do it particularly badly.
Here it is.
Ooh, by the smell of it, it's a chamomile decoction the way it should be.
Happy to help.
This should help Hans get better. I'll take care of it now.
All right. Is there anything else I can do to help?
Well, if you feel up to it, I'd be right grateful to you if you was to rid me of them damn corpses what's lying there the whole time.
Sure. I'll do the best I can.
When you're done with that, go get some sleep. You won't miss anything, and you need the rest after everything that happened.
So 2 more bodies to get rid of. Don't worry, I'm not going to make you watch me doing it all again. And then I have to get some sleep until morning because I'm currently suffering from fatigue. It has been a fairly busy day after all, and I am suffering from some very painful injuries. So after disposing of the bodies and tucking myself in for the night, and when morning arrives, my injuries have healed and Hans is back on his feet.
Nothing against the hospitality of the good women folk here, but I want to get to Trotsky Castle right away.
Hold on a bit. Before we hit the road, there's something you should know. I have a hunch that one of that band that ambushed us at the pond was Istvan Toth.
Toth? Are you yanking my pizzle? He's long since over the hills and far away.
I tell you, I saw him there.
Of course, Henry. I know you have accounts to settle with him, but that's nonsense. Toth is in Sigismund's service and is harassing his opponents. And Otto von Bergov is one of Sigismund's allies. So Toth's hardly going to attack his people. It was dark. God knows what you saw.
I saw him, the bastard, and I'll get him.
Yes, we'll surely get him one day. I promise you. And your sword, too. But I don't think either of them are around here. But I see you haven't wasted any time and found yourself a weapon to replace that sword. That's good. You never know when you might need it around here. Come on, let's get going. Your mind will turn to better things along the way.
So it's off to Castle Trotsky. We do have a message to deliver after all. In the first video there were a couple of comments from people saying that, nah, this doesn't look like it's for me, way too much talking, way too many cutscenes, and yeah, I can kind of appreciate that, but you also have to understand that this is basically the prologue. There's a certain amount of scene setting and storytelling that, well, it really kind of has to happen in the first couple of hours. Because a lot of people are not going to have played the first game. They're going to have no idea who Sir Hans Capon is. They're going to have no idea who Henry of Skalitz is. They're going to have no idea of the political background in which the game is set, the civil war between Wenceslas and Sigismund that split the Kingdom of Bohemia in half, which is barely important to the plot. So there is a barely necessary amount of heavy storytelling, cutscenes and exposition in the first couple of hours. It is sort of necessarily quite heavily front-loaded. But if this is the sort of thing that concerns you and you have stuck around this far, you'll be pleased to hear that we're more or less basically done with all that. The scene has been set. There is still one further cutscene which is coming up and which I am going to show you because it's hilarious. But we are very, very nearly at the point where the prologue is done and Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 becomes the open world medieval role-playing game that we came here to play. First, we just have to get to Castle Troskowitz. And the reaction of the local peasants here in Troskowitz to our unsavoury appearance, they gave you some hint as to exactly what our reception at the gates of Castle Troskowitz is going to be like. Young Lord Hans, of course, 100% completely incapable of keeping it in his pants. Castle Troskowitz lies ahead. We're almost there. It's just the small matter of this message that we have to deliver to Lord von Berghoff. The message that we don't actually have anymore.
Oh, I hope they've got a good physician at this castle. Or at least a barber. I mean, that old crone got me on my feet. But I don't believe much in herbal remedies. You can't beat an educated man of medicine.
And I can't wait to sleep in a proper bed.
And some wine!
Oh, fucking hell.
Oh, it's closed. Open up! I bear an urgent message for your liege lord. Hear me! Open the gate! I am a messenger from Sir Hanush of Lipa. Fucking shit! Fuck! You fucking cunts! Do you know who I am? No, we fucking don't!
I told you it was going to be good.
I'm sorry. Hans Capon. Of Parkstein. Heir to Ratai. Now, look here, you filthy beggar! I'm not here for your amusement, so get your stinking, ragged asses out of here on the double. The pair of you!
What's all this about? Why don't you send those beggars packing?
I did, sir. They say they're messengers. I am Sir Hans Capon of Parkstein. Envoy...
I heard. Nevertheless, I doubt Sir Hanush would send two vagabonds covered in excrement as emissaries. Apart from which, Sir Hans Capon is dead. We found his body by the pond. His company was ambushed by outlaws, and they were slaughtered to the last man.
Yes, they ambushed us.
But we managed to get away!
Sir, we met your Captain Thomas on our way. He can testify to who we are. He saw our message and its seal.
How terribly unfortunate you are. The captain's company was also ambushed by outlaws. The captain barely escaped with his life and has been delirious for 3 days. And even if he did confirm your story, I am under strict orders to admit no strangers to the castle.
Sir, there's a horseman approaching in King Sigismund's colours.
Ah, now that's what a messenger looks like. Count yourselves lucky that I don't have time to waste on you. Be gone!
I'm getting in, whether you like it or not.
Your shitty hands off me!
No, wait. Wait, one moment!
What the fuck was that?
So now what?
That is an excellent question, Henry, and you have the whole rest of the game to find out.
There's only one thing we can do.
But since Hans is in charge, we're going to start by having a drink. Although exactly how we're going to pay for it is anybody's guess. But we'll find out in the next episode when Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 finally gets rolling. Hope you've enjoyed it this far, and as always, take care, and I'll catch you next time.